guys, my name is Tanya. Welcome to my channel. This is my daughter Savannah. She's 16 years old, and today's video is all about getting a 504. If you're not sure what a 504 is, it's something that you get in school. It's like an IEP, but it's for physical problems, not learning disabilities.
Well, it can be for learning disabilities.
It just depends on what it is, but it just means that if you qualify for a 504, you can get extra time, extra help with something at school, depending on what your disability or whatever is. So like, you know, if somebody was in a wheelchair, they would need extra something. If somebody was blind, they would need help with things. But for Savannah, she has asthma, and she has a 504 for that. The main reason why we went after getting a 504 for asthma is because when she was in junior high, she had a PE teacher that treated her like total shit, and she ended up, because she stopped running, right? You stopped running to get a drink of water. Is that right?
Yeah. Are we just gonna skim through this in like 2 minutes?
No. I'm just explaining, like, in the beginning, this is the reason why we went after getting a 504. You want to explain what happened that day?
Okay. Also, we already filmed this video, guys, but the footage got deleted, so it's like a refilm from like literally this. It's been months since we filmed it last.
It's been months, and I just was like, oh my god, I don't want to re-say all that stuff because it's a long story. I'm gonna try to keep it short so it's not. Oh, Milo.
So we will call my teacher Miss Biatch. So I was in PE in 8th grade, and I was in Miss Biatch's class. And so we did like running every other day. So it would be like Tuesdays and Thursdays would be running days. And so where do I start? Okay, so I guess like basically in class, whenever it was a running day, I would always take my inhaler. At first, I didn't take it before class because, I don't know, I just didn't think of that. So I just like would ask in the middle of class if I can go to the locker room and get my inhaler, which I think really annoyed her because I think she just thought I was trying to skip class or something. And then after that, we took a pacer test. Should I explain what that is, or do you think everyone knows what that is?
They probably know. We just run it back and forth.
Yeah, it's like a sprinting test. And I was like the first one to stop. Because that one is very, very hard on me because you have to go faster and faster and you don't like get a break. And she was like, I was like panting, I was like, and she was like, do you feel like you just ran from a bear? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, it must have been a slow bear. Like, what kind of teacher says that to your student? Like, what? And she knew I had asthma too.
No.
So, and it's not like I only went twice and then like did 2 and then I was done. Like, I wasn't just being lazy. So then after that, oh my god, his butthole is in the camera. Okay, so after that, okay, let me just remember. It was a running day, and we had a sub in the class, but we didn't just have a sub. We have this, like, kind of like special ed teacher. She's not like a teacher, but she helps the special ed kids in our class. And so she was there with the sub, and she was there every day. So we were running laps, and I stopped to get a drink of water because there's a water fountain in the gym right where we were running for a reason. So I took a break to get a drink of water really quick, and then I went back to running, and I was running kind of slow, you know, walking a little bit because I was tired. And the next day I get into the gym, and Miss Biatch is there, and she was like, well, Miss Biatch number 2, the special ed teacher, told me that you were not running yesterday at all. You were either walking the whole time or just not doing anything and just talking to your friends. And you were taking, you know, lots of breaks for drinks. And you know in this class that you're not allowed to take a drink in the middle of a run. That's, you know, against the rules. You're only allowed to take a drink before or after class. And she was like, she was trying to act all like, I can't think of the word. Like, you know, like when they talk down to you, she's like talking in a condescending voice. Oh. Yeah. She was like, all like, you know, I don't I was like, I wasn't. I was running. And she was like, I don't like being lied to, you know. She clearly told me that this was what happened, and, you know, I don't appreciate being lied to, and you know the rules. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And she was like, so you're going to have a 2-day lunch detention. So I served 2 days of lunch detention, and it wasn't even just like, oh, let me sit in her office and eat or something. I had to sit on the dirty gym floor while she was having a class running in the gym right next to me.
And she was eating her lunch
and eat my lunch
gym
on the floor. Yeah,
2
for
days.
2 days. All because I wasn't running and wasn't trying and was just talking to my friends, which is not even true. And I've had problems with the special ed teacher before too, because I went to the nurse one time before class started, because it was something to do with like my asthma or something. I don't really remember, but my friend was also in there too, and I didn't plan this. I didn't know she was going to be in there, but she was also in the same class, and the special ed teacher came down to the nurse's office and saw that we were both in there and dragged us out of the nurse's office and said, we're going to apologize to Miss Biatch right now. You guys are just trying to skip class. You guys can't be in here. You just need to go to class right now. Like, get out. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, you don't even know. Like, you just walked in and saw that both of us were in here and thought that we were, like, lying. So.
Side note.
Yeah.
All of this happened, like, not very long after my mom died. So,
yeah.
Me and her were already.
Sorry.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Oh. Me and her were already, like, in the bad headspace with everything. Mm-hmm. So, it was, you know, that was just, like, the icing on the cake, just being fucked with these fucking asshole teachers.
Yeah, I was having a lot of issues. Like, usually...
She even had one teacher one time that told her no, she's not allowed to go get her inhaler.
Yeah.
That's such bullshit.
Like, it's in my medical records. I'm diagnosed with asthma. It's not like I'm trying to fake it and get out of class like, I can't breathe. I have asthma, and it's exercise-induced asthma, which means that it gets worse when I do cardio or exercise.
Right.
So, yeah, I've always had problems with that.
So, basically, because of how she was treated in junior high by all of these PE teachers, we decided to fight for a 504 because a 504 is supposed to protect her from, you know, them treating her poorly or saying no to her or whatever. So, it was a very, very long process. The first thing we had to do, I think, was talk to the counselor, her counselor at the school, and that counselor is also, like, the biggest bitch I've ever met. She was so rude. She kept telling me, you're not going to qualify for a 504. And I had read up and researched on it a lot, and I knew that she could get a 504, and she kept telling me no.
Oh, they gathered lots of evidence. Like, over the time that we were fighting for it or whatever, like, she would research all the time and get lots of evidence of picture proof of, like, what is qualifies and, like, all that stuff.
Yeah, because you need to be protected, especially in PE for the exercise-induced asthma. You should be able to get your inhaler whenever you need it. You should be able to stop and take a breather whenever you need it. And you should be able to go get a drink of water whenever you need it. I think that is stuff for any person, asthma or not. You should be able to take a break if you need it. But the 504 would protect her in that. Yeah. Not only in gym, but like in choir, you're singing a lot, and then if you need your inhaler or a break, the 504 will protect you when the teacher cannot tell you no, you can't take a break.
And even before this too, like, I even had to ask permission to carry my inhaler on me. Yeah. Because you weren't allowed to carry medicine on you. It has to be the nurse's office. So I had to get, like, permission, a form or whatever saying that I could carry it, which is stupid for an inhaler. Because if you're having an asthma attack, if any of you have asthma, you would know you need it right. You can't walk to the nurse's office and get it. You just need it.
It's the same for, like, if you're allergic to something, you need your EpiPen on you.
Yeah. Or, like, also another thing that they used against us was they said, well, we have lots of students with asthma who don't need one at 504.
Who said that?
The teachers. They were like, oh, we have like, Miss Biatch was like, I have lots of students with asthma who have gotten through this class fine.
Yeah, you can't compare students to each other. That's bullshit and that's rude.
I think they thought I was just trying to use it as a crutch.
Yeah. So basically, I'll try to make this short, but the counselor, I had talk to her on the phone, and I don't remember all the details now because it's been years, but basically she set up a meeting for me that was supposed to be the 504 meeting, and it included, the first one included what? The nurse and the PE teacher, and I don't remember what else, but basically she said it was a 504 meeting, and we all sat there and talked, and I explained what that PE teacher had said to Savannah, and the PE teacher wasn't even like apologetic or anything about it. It was bullshit.
I remember what she said.
What?
She was like, I really do not remember saying that.
Oh,
I
right.
don't recall, and I do not think that I would ever say something like that to a student. But, you know, if I did, I'm very sorry for hurting your feelings because I don't remember saying that at all. That was her excuse.
That's right. Yeah, that was such bullshit. So, we had that meeting, and then we had to wait for a result or whatever. And then the counselor said, called me or whatever, and was like, you guys don't qualify, you can't get it. And I was like, what are you talking about? So then I contacted the retired school disability. Okay, anyway. So what I did was I contacted the, I don't remember what their job title was, but it was somebody who used to work for that district, and they were in charge of all of the people with like disabilities and things like that, and just to ask him questions. And he was like, she for sure qualifies for a 504, and whatever it is that they did in that little meeting that you had with them, that's not a proper 504 meeting at all. That's not the way you do it, and it doesn't even count because you had to have certain people there at the meeting, like somebody in his job description. And then he also contacted the current district person, and then we had a second proper 504 meeting that included like 3 or 4 of her teachers, the principal, the nurse, the bitch counselor, the did I say the current disability lady? She was there for me, and she was like, don't worry about this. She kept assuring me, don't worry about what happens at this meeting because it's up to me, the decision is mine. Which reminds me, that counselor kept telling me that the meeting does not matter. I'm the one who gets to decide whether you qualify or not.
She already had her mind made up.
She already had her mind made up, and all she is a school counselor. So, and she was trying to tell me that it was all her. She has the decision, but that's not true. That the current disability, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. She was like, don't even worry about what happens at this meeting because it's my decision, and I already know that she qualifies for this 504. So don't even worry about it. So she was there physically in the room with us at the meeting, and then the retired guy was on the phone with all of us too. So they were all on my side. They went around the room asking her teachers if they had ever noticed any times that she needed her inhaler or had problems or whatever, which I have to say is totally unfair because it's not like when you're in math class or social studies that you're doing anything that you're gonna like run out of air or oxygen and need an inhaler. So a lot of those teachers were just very much like, I'm sorry, I don't get it. I don't think she needs a 504. Oh, and then there was a second counselor in there because I hated the other counselor so much that I told the school that we are no longer going to use that counselor, and Savannah has to move to the other counselor, and he needs to be in this meeting to know what's going on.
Which is a whole other story of why she was really bad anyway.
Yeah, I'll tell that too, but basically they went around asking these teachers their opinions on anything, and like 99% of them were like, no, I vote no because I don't get it, da-da-da. So basically, during this meeting, I don't even remember why she brought it up, but there was this was like right after my mom died, and Savannah had gone to her
every week
because she's the school counselor. So Savannah will go and talk to her whenever she was feeling like she needed to express herself after her grandma died. So she would go and talk to this bitch counselor, and she was never any help. She would, instead of listening to what Savannah was saying, she would show her pictures of like her kids and say, look, da-da-da-da-da. And it has nothing to do with what she was saying. Or she was no help.
Even when she did give advice, she, like for instance, I was talking to her how I was insecure about my body. I was like, oh, I'm so fat, I hate my body, whatever. And she was like, oh, you're not fat, honey. You want me to show you a picture of a real fat person? Like what? Also, I forgot, I wanted to add this. I think we even had to get a doctor recommendation for a 504 too.
That's right.
I think the doctor had to say like, oh, she can qualify for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we did, and we got that. The doctor agreed that she qualifies for a 504.
That
So,
should be the decision
listen,
maker.
If you guys need a 504 for your child in school, fight for it. Don't let someone tell you no the first time you ask about it. Research it, find the people that you're supposed to talk to. In our case, I was so pissed at everybody that at that school that what they were doing to us that I just involved everybody that I could call. I called so many people about this so that I could have backup about this. I understand that asthma is not the same as someone having like seizures or whatever, but it's just as bad. Somebody can have a bad asthma attack and go to the hospital, so
Yeah.
either way, we were at this meeting. For some reason, this bitch counselor brought up one of the private conversations that her and Savannah had. They are supposed to have student counselor confidentiality.
Unless I'm a danger to myself or others. She even, like, they say it to you when you go in there. They're like, this is confidential. It's only us two. No teachers see it, nothing, unless you're a danger.
Right. So, and Savannah obviously was not. She was just talking about her feelings. So, this bitch decides that she's going to tell this entire room of people all of the private things that Savannah confided in her about her grandma dying and all this stuff. She brought that up during this meeting about my mom dying. I don't know what it did to me, but it was like an instant, it was like a pain. I don't know how to describe it, but I felt an instant sad pain inside me. And I started crying, and I was like, I verbally went after her. I was like, you are not allowed to break confidentiality and tell all these people Savannah's secrets that she confided in you about, and how dare you bring up my mom? You don't even know my mom. I was pissed, and I tried, so I kept telling them, you deserve to lose your job. And my husband was there at that meeting with me, and he looked at her and he was like, you should be fired for that and for all this stuff that you caused. And she was like, how dare you try to get me fired today? It was freaking horrible. And I was trying so hard not to cry, but it was like that painful cry that you get your throat hurts. Cause
it was fresh.
It was all still fresh.
And that had nothing to, it came by surprise.
Yeah,
that
it had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with the meeting. Yeah. I wasn't there, by the way, but it had nothing to do with it. And like, it was just way out of line. And honestly, she didn't even have like the credentials or anything to even keep her job, because that was her first year working there. So everything piled on top of each other that she did that was wrong should have gotten her fired.
Yes. And to this day, she still works there. Can you believe that? So what happened was, I was in so much emotional pain at that moment and couldn't hold my tears back that I left the room and I went out to the car. I couldn't do it. And I told my husband to finish that meeting for me because I could not do it anymore after she brought up my mom. It was like getting stabbed in the heart with a knife. It was that painful. Basically, but the lady who's in charge, who is the decider of if you get a 504, when I was still in there, she looked at me and kind of whispered and said, don't worry, you're getting the 504. So I knew I was going to get it, but still everybody in that room was not understanding how important it is, because it's important because she has it to protect her. She has it like, if she needs something special for a second, she has that to protect her and say, look, I have a 504 saying I'm allowed to do this. That's the reason why we fought for it, because of all the past things of teachers telling her, no, you can't use your inhaler right now. No, you can't stop. No, you can't get a drink, which is fucking bullshit.
And it's more convenient too, than getting a doctor's note, because if I were like sick, that makes my asthma flare up way worse when I'm sick and I'm doing PE.
She can't even go to school when she's sick, because even the slightest cold will make her asthma up so bad.
Oh, they can listen to me when I'm sleeping with my asthma and I'm like
wheezing. Yeah, she wheezes really bad. So the principal the whole time really had nothing to say the whole time that I was in there. He did not talk much. Either way, it ended. She got the 504, but this was, I think this happened over a couple months, right? I mean, the fighting for it, a month or so. Because there was a separate, there was like, I had 3 meetings. The first meeting, I think, was just with the PE teacher. Either way, it was a long process. It was a frustrating and stressful process, and it's just something that we wanted to talk about because it's important. If your kid has something, you know, that they need help with, then it's okay to ask the school, what can I do to help my kid for this? Fight for a 504 if you need one. This is the cat's tail in Savannah's face.
And I've even been told,
this is Violet.
I've even been told by a therapist too that I could even add on to my 504. So like anxiety. That my anxiety's bad enough that I could have that added on as long as I have doctor approval.
Yeah, if your anxiety is bad enough, you can add that. And Savannah's actually is bad enough because, you know, they do hybrid learning right now where it's like three days at home online, 2 days in school. And and there was this once or twice when she got called on in class and she just clicked out of the class real fast because she had a panic attack and it's like she couldn't talk.
Yeah, which is even worse in person because if you're in person, you can't just click out of the class, you know. I've had actual panic attacks during school before because of, like, you know, school situations, I guess.
Yeah. So, I guess the whole point of this video is to explain a 504, tell you that if you think your child needs one, you can fight for it. Don't let the first person you see tell you no, and then you just believe them. You need to fight for it because these kids who need the extra time or help or whatever, they deserve to have that. So,
and it carries through your education too.
Yeah, I meet with these people once a year to renew the 504, and luckily she got it in 8th grade the first time. And then after that, she started a new school. She went to high school. So now I don't deal with the same people anymore. Yeah. I deal with one person at her high school. We talk for a couple minutes and it's renewed and it's simple.
Yeah,
simple process.
And they said, because I was at the first meeting about it, I think, and it had like vice principal and like stuff like that in it. And they said that like it shouldn't have been that hard to get it.
Yeah.
So they were like on our side. They weren't like fighting us about it. They were just like, you should have been able to get it a lot easier.
That school before that, oh my god, it was so difficult. It was awful.
They have terrible staff.
Yeah, it was a bad experience, but either way, research 504s if you think that your child needs it. I think kids get it for ADHD. If you have bad ADHD,
dyslexia. I know some people have it for like dyslexia because like a benefit that you can get is a teacher can give you longer on a test or like an extra day on a test if you really struggle with like time management and stuff and reading. So so it's very helpful. Basically, it protects your child, and that is all I cared about because my child had to have 2 detentions on the gym floor and eat lunch just because she stopped to get a drink of water. And they blew it out of proportion and lied to the teacher.
Yeah. So that is the reason why we fought so hard for it, so that she would be protected, and all we have to say is, look, she has a 504. Most of the time, teachers don't look at their paperwork and know who has a 504 and who doesn't, which is crap. But you kind of have to remind them all the time, and then they have to go and see if you're telling the truth or whatever, and then, you know, but...
Yeah, every new PE class I go into, they, like, usually we do surveys, and it'll say, like, oh, what's something I should know? That's something I usually add in that, and most of my teachers have been okay with it. Like
in high school, her PE teachers have been really good
There's
about
like, okay, we'll work on, you know, we'll talk about what we think you should, like... you know, do in certain situations.
If the whole class is doing this and that's too hard for her, Savannah can choose this or this to do instead. You know, that's another thing.
Or, you know, they just let me take breaks.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, this video is getting long. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. But I do hope that it was educational for you and helpful for you. If you're interested in, you know, 504s and ways you can help your kids at school. I know Savannah's glad to have it. Alrighty, so if you like this video, please leave me a like, leave me some comments, letting me know what you think about this 504 situation and that little story time. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. We do all kinds of things on this channel. And my son just burped. I don't know if you heard that. So we will see you guys next time.
Bye, poopies.